Say bye-bye to brain rot because Science Gallery Melbourne is trying to redirect your attention. Journey begins with a pledge to swap doomscrolling for basically anything else. Here you can start a communal knitting project, or write a love letter to your digital crush. I like how the show is really playful and interactive, though there is no guarantee that people will stay off their phones. Maybe providing phone charging lockers when people make their attention pledge could be a good idea. I think this exhibition is also a reminder that distraction is not always negative. It can be a coping mechanism and offer comfort. The way that distraction is defined is often governed by corporate and productivity. This is an opportunity to explore whether we're actually in charge of our attention, and don't forget to have some fun along the way.
This show is a special one on the Australian Arts calendar, being the only major exhibition dedicated to the work of emerging Aboriginal artists from WA. It's also a show high on the mind of collectors keen to snap up works by up-and-coming talent. This year's revealed New and Emerging WA Aboriginal Artists showcases 85 artists, which is a huge number to include, and a clear sign of the event's growing ambitions. So how does this year's revealed read as a whole? Well, there isn't a clear common thread binding the works together. The pieces are too diverse in form and medium. But its varied quality functions as one of its key strengths. Because there is no one medium or style that dominates the space, it becomes more obvious to the viewer that these are artists charting their own paths and experimenting with their own chosen techniques and mediums to help them develop their individual artistic and conceptual interests. That said, when it comes to a standout crop of work, the show's photographic pieces command the most attention. The gridded display of Jullawalu Photography Collective series, created by young people from the Jullawalu community through a creative mentoring program supported by ArtsHub, WA's peak body for the Aboriginal arts sector. These are especially compelling and give candid insight into these young people's lives on Yindjibarndi country. For all that praise, there are some aspects of Reveal that could have been done better, such as the placement of sculptural works in the main gallery, which makes some areas of this space feel crowded. But overall, this show is a rare chance to see the work of many of WA's most remotely located artists who are just at the beginning of what will hopefully become long-term artistic careers.
Who do you think is the Australian counterpart of American surrealist photographer Man Ray? Well, it turns out that although they've never met, Max Dupain was heavily influenced by the artist who was 20 years his senior. These two intergenerational artists are positioned side by side at the Harding Museum of Modern Art. Dupain is most well known for capturing Australian life, especially with the 1937 Sunbaker image. But in fact, this exhibition consciously directs attention away from their most well-known works, and instead looks at the innovation and nuances of both practices. Ray in fact created camera-less photographs to blur the boundaries between the real and the surreal, while Dupain, at first critical of his work, also took up this experimentation. The exhibition is a rich archive that draws interesting connections between these two men, and I love that it also has a dedicated section paying homage to Lee Miller and Olive Cotton, the two most influential women of their lives with photographic practices of their own renown.
Did you know Mexico City has 170 registered museums, in line with Paris, London and New York? It's no surprise it's being flagged as the hot cultural tourism spot of 2025. The contemporary art scene is buzzing, from established warehouse-style galleries like Kurimansuto to private museums like the impressive Museo Homex and Kasawabi. Modernist architecture gems pepper this enormous city, and a must is Louis Barragan's Casa Gilardi, with its colourful, defining form. If it's murals you want, then head to the recently opened Museo Viva del Muralismo. It has over 200 murals by Diego Rivera, while the Palacio de Bellas Artes shows the recreation of his Rockefeller Center mural. There's a lot of parallels for Australians to observe a nation that has emerged from its colonial past. So plan your next art holiday to Mexico City.
65,000 Years, A Short History of Australian Art is a monumental exhibition housed inside the newly reopened Potter Museum of Art. Presented across 3 levels with a loosely chronological timeline, This exhibition confronts Australia's colonial history while simultaneously celebrating the artistic excellence of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. There is pain, but also joy, and visitors are invited to take a moment to simply be with these works. Years of research and consultation have gone into this show, and this care is palpable. Felt honoured to have encountered so many personal stories, knowledge and wisdom. This show is an invitation for truth-telling and has the power to keep you from looking away.
Many Australians will know Cerith Wyn Evans's light installations, while many will discover them for a first time at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Sydney. Known for his floating neon scribbles, London-based Cerith delivers us much more than just an illuminated folly. It's also a curated soundscape that draws us into a meditative zone. While the knotted neons have a sameness about them, the exhibition is expanded with a major text work, Composition for 37 Flutes, which audiences walk through as glass pipes breathe sound into the space. Glass is another favoured material used by Cerith, from smashed car window shields to suspended sheet glass. The installations play with the architecture beautifully, and the addition of plants softens the viewing experience. Be sure to notice the details in this exhibition as they move from organic raw materials to refined, controlled composition. Prepare to be wowed, to be suspended in time and theatrics, and have a good look at a major international artist's oeuvre.
Decenter Recenter is a photographic exhibition presented by Lawrence Wilson Art Gallery in Perth, which, in partnership with the Perth Centre for Photography, showcases artists whose work explores the survival of people and communities facing oppression or marginalisation in various forms. Curators Theo Constantino, Lee Kinsella and Brent Harrison have chosen a number of powerful works for the show, most notably that of Iranian-born, Melbourne-based artist Ramak Basmar and Fijian-Australian artist Torika Bolatanyiti. These two artists are clear standouts in their capacity to speak in sophisticated ways about certain traumas which may appear on the surface to be slight and impermanent, but which are in fact experiences that leave deep scars which can place profound limitations on one's personal freedoms and ability to thrive. Bolatanyiti's work, First in Family After Minari 2019, takes the innovative thinker and mid-century Italian designer Bruno Minari's work, Seeking Comfort in an Uncomfortable Chair 1944, as its reference point to reflect how difficult it can be for anyone whose identity does not readily conform with the typical or dominant societal group to find a comfortable middle-class place within these conventional systems and structures. Then, in Ramak Basmar's work, we see some equally uncomfortable truths, but this time they reveal consequences of what are often hidden traumas inflicted upon women's bodies. Basmar's portrait sitters are adorned with what, in any other context, would be understood as marks of beauty, but here these marks are transformed into stains of fresh physical injuries, which read as explicitly violent wounds conjuring scenes of domestic abuse. It must be said that not all the works in this show carry this same sense of conceptual and artistic rigour, yet the exhibition has been carefully installed to encourage considered reflection on what the curators describe as these artists' willingness to challenge dynamics of visibility and power.
Thinking Together is a group exhibition that transforms Bundanon. These artists explore the idea of collaborating between the human and non-human. This is perhaps best captured by Robert Andrew with his animatronic drawing, which slowly sketches the Shoalhaven River along the length of the gallery. Key to this space is scale, and that is no better expressed than in the sublime, unstretched paintings by Matu artists. Getting between the space is a little bit awkward and fractures the exhibition, but the tone is very different between the rooms. A highlight are Keg de Souza's fabulous cases of fungi which are amplified. Then Tina Stefano's video of retired horses which collaborate via sound by wearing a kind of orchestral armour. Cerith's work looks at the migratory paths of an extinct bird, probably the less obvious fit for the show. It is a thought-provoking exhibition and worthwhile journey to the Arthur Boyd property on the Shoalhaven River. I gave Thinking Together 4 stars.
Karla Dickens's exhibition Rise and Fall is a fantastic show at Wollongong Art Gallery.
I know this space well. It's really difficult to curate in, but Daniel Morty Cunningham has done a fantastic job, and that largely has to do with the connection and collaboration with Karla. The exhibition is a response to the Lismore floods of 2022, and yes, while the topic is bleak, it is very real and raw, like the found objects that make up her incredible sculptures. The sculptures sit in a space almost like a flotilla themselves, and are surrounded by canvas-style billboards which are anchored by nautical ropes and sandbags. It also gets us thinking about the climate today and our own human impact on the landscape. Karla and Daniel have done a fantastic job to actually use the architecture rather than fight against it. And a wonderful addition is a fishing trap on the upper level. Wollongong is just an hour south of Sydney, and it's definitely worth the trip if you can get down to see this exhibition. It's testament again to the fantastic job that regional galleries do.
Dianne Jones' The Beach, curated by Abigail Moncrief, is the latest solo exhibition by Balladong artist Dianne Jones, presented by Perth Festival and Walliap Fremantle Arts Centre. The show includes Jones's 2003 series Australian Photographs, seen here for the first time in its entirety. These works are fittingly installed along both sides of the gallery's corridor space, where they sit in playful dialogue with each other. But these images are more than playful reworkings of some of Australia's most iconic photographic portraits. By inserting herself as an Indigenous woman into these scenes, Jones imbues them with both subtle humour and a biting sense of political critique. This is especially true of Jones's latest work, Jones's Beach Party 2024, a work that takes its cues from the mid-century Australian artist Charles Mears' work, Australian Beach Pattern 1940, a painting that continues to spur debate about how closely or not its aesthetic aligns with ideals made popular in 1930s Nazi Germany. In Jones's version, instead of the young, white bodies shown in a series of strong athletic poses, it's the artist and her extended family who are in the spotlight, enjoying a day at the beach. It's another one of the artist's images that brims with political meaning, but it's also infused with great happiness and joy. In this way, it's a fitting continuation of the artist's investigations into how her identity as an Indigenous woman is part of a complex bigger picture which intersects with ideas of nationhood, social hierarchies, and structural inequalities.
Did you know Shepparton Art Museum in regional Victoria is home to the National Ceramic Collection? It's a great reason to stop on your next roadie.
There you go. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The staff are welcoming, and while the galleries are surprisingly small given the scale of the building, the calibre of the collection is top drawer with the star attraction Sam Jinx's Woman and Child. The gallery uses every available space, like a fabulous site-responsive drawing by Gossier Ledazak on the glass staircase. Ceramics are interwoven into most of the displays, and while I would have liked to have seen more of the National Collection, the pieces on show were incredible, like Gwen Hansen-Piggott's amazing installation. I got to see the recently opened exhibition Brett Whiteley's Inside the Studio from the Art Gallery of New South Wales, where I saw it kick off its tour, and it looks just as fresh today and is peppered with ceramics painted by Whiteley. Sam is a cracker place to stop. It's got a great cafe, a kids' activities space, and the tourist information shares the building. Plus, it's free to visit. So next time you're on the road, make your pit stop a regional gallery.